once they get past that deadline date for response, they're given what's called a conference. And that's what the Donofrio case had this last Friday. We have not been given a date for the conference yet. But I think you were here earlier. Today we're filing an application for an injunction asking the U.S. Supreme Court to enjoin the electors from voting on December 15th and also on January 6th from the Vice President Cheney and the Senate and House from counting any votes. So hopefully the Supreme Court will grant that injunction. If not, I have another case proceeding. It's Berg, excuse me, it's Berg versus Obama, but I can't tell you anything about it because the case is under seal. But the case is working its way through the system, and I feel that that case might break this whole thing open. Also, we're going to do whatever else is necessary, any other lawsuits.
Okay, I have two different lawsuits. One of them, Lightfoot v. Bowen, that I filed in the Supreme Court of California, basically going the same route as Leo Donofrio. It was a petition for extraordinary emergency writ of mandamus for stay, and it was filed on December the 3rd, and the Supreme Court of California acted very fast. What I was looking for, an opportunity to go to the Supreme Court of U.S., and they met within 2 days. On Friday at 10 o'clock in the evening, they denied it, so that gives me an opportunity to file within a day or two in the Supreme Court of the United States, and for a stay it will be heard by one judge, and the judge that is assigned to the 9th District is going to be Judge Anthony Kennedy. The other case, Keys v. Bowen, the tentative hearing is going to be on the 11th, December the 11th, in the Superior Court of California in Sacramento. The judge is Judge Murray. And as I explained, we have two attorneys working on this case. Mr. Kripp is currently on Hawaii, and that's to an extent associated with the fact that there is another legal action filed in Hawaii on behalf of Alan Keyes and Constitutional Party, and the attorney there is James Hochberg, who is a licensed attorney in Hawaii. That legal action was filed against the governor of the state of Hawaii, Linda Lingle, and the chair of the elections committee, Mr. Cronin. They are looking for an injunction to release the original birth certificate. And the problem with Hawaii is that it's a very liberal state, so the judges, and particularly the Attorney General, are acting very much along the party lines. When you think about it, the Attorney General in Hawaii filed a motion to dismiss. Why? Attorney General of Hawaii, why would he want to dismiss the case where all they're asking is to see the original birth certificate of Mr. Obama? There is a tangible interest. You had a presidential candidate and electors who have tangible interest to get this information, and he is blocking it. And that is the problem that we have, is that our elected officials are acting along the party line, particularly Democrats, and not acting in the interest of the people that they were elected to represent. And I hope, I believe the hearing is tomorrow, I hope each and every decent citizen of this country calls Attorney General of Hawaii demanding that he stops those actions. Is he representing the people of this country? People want to know who this man is, who is Barack Obama, and where he was born. He is not there to be a private attorney for Barack Obama.
The second Bowen case, who was the plaintiff?
The second one, chronologically, that I talked, Alan Keyes. The first that I talked about, yes. No, the Sacramento is Alan Keyes.
No, the one, Bowen.
No.
The other Bowen.
Okay. Bowen is the Secretary of State of California. So both cases that come from California, I'm sorry, I have malfunction with my phone. By some reason, it wouldn't mute by some reason. But at any rate, there are two cases, and the reason both of them are versus Bowen, because she is the Secretary of State. It's the same Deborah Bowen that didn't do her job.
plaintiff.
Okay, the other case that's going to be going to the Supreme Court is Lightfoot v. Bowen, and there are 7 plaintiffs in that lawsuit. Gail Lightfoot is just the first plaintiff out of 7.
You get that summary? You want to feed it back? Okay. Members of the press, just identify yourself. Yes.
One would be to FOIA or acquire the passport files of Ann Dunham. Those don't have quite as many roadblocks around them as Barack Obama's documents, especially Hawaii has hurdles that other states don't have. I guess the other thing is I think everyone here has alleged that Obama's committed, or some of his campaigns committed document fraud, although you haven't named any forensic experts or explained what the forensic problems are. Why is there not a lawsuit suing somebody for forging government documents? Because you had a case that would seem to be a way to actually attack at people who committed crimes and didn't have to do it. The lack of those 2 investigations makes me question how people are going to get at this.
Okay. Orly, you can correct me if I'm wrong. First of all, in response to your first question about his mother's travel records, it's my understanding that a New York citizen, his name is Christopher Strunk, S-T-R-U-N-C-K, has in fact months ago FOIA'd the U.S. Department of State for those records, and they have not been forthcoming. They're not providing them for whatever. You'll have to ask the Secretary, the Department of State, why they're delaying that. And he's gone to court to try and get the court to order them released. And to date, he has not been successful. The courts have not been granting him the relief that he's been requesting. With respect to your second question, document fraud, those are criminal charges, and only the government can pursue criminal charges. Citizens cannot bring criminal charges. That has to go through, they have to be initiated by state or federal justice departments. That's my understanding. If I'm wrong, correct me. Civil RICO. Well, it's a possibility, I suppose. Obviously, they'll take time. Lots of discovery if they ever get to that point, and so forth. But there is time is apparently of the essence now, and so that's why those, I guess, one of the reasons why those a civil RICO case has not been filed yet. Other members of the media? Yes, sir. Sorry.
It doesn't seem so far that the courts have been very responsive to most of your requests. So, it's a little hypothetical, but assuming that they continue not to take the actions you're seeking before January 20th, what do you, I guess number one, what would you advise citizens and people in government to do if Obama is president? And number two, what would that mean? What would that mean to you? The issues you're trying to raise?
Yeah, the question is, what if relief is not provided before January 20th and there's no serious rebuttal to the facts that have been presented to the courts thus far? And Mr. Obama is then sworn in. What happens then? Here's where I'm at. I had 20 years of experience in defending the state constitution in New York, scrutinizing governmental behavior and comparing government's behavior with the requirements of our state constitution, and then confronting them wherever we saw an impropriety or a conflict, winning many significant cases, twice getting the high court in the state to declare the governor had violated the state constitution by using public funds to sway the results of elections. Also winning a case against the state comptroller on the same grounds. Many other cases. I found one of my observations in all of that work was that the courts are quite politicized, and when you get too close to the heart of the money and power issue, you tend to lose. So what if, though, and then for the last 10 years, I've been petitioning on federal issues. First case was actually 15 years ago over the bailout of the Mexican peso, a violation of the money clauses of the Constitution. Second federal case I brought was the bombing of Kosovo without a declaration of war. And then for the last, since 1999, very active in petitioning the political branches, primarily for redress of a variety of grievances that I touched on earlier. This is the capstone grievance, as far as I'm concerned. The government has failed to respond at all to these other petitions for redress of grievances. We've simply asked for answers to questions regarding the government's violation. And by the way, we had the assistance of constitutional scholars. These were, if there was ever, we're talking now about the last 10 words of the